Hey guys, it's Kayla and I'm back with another video. It's been a minute since I've uploaded to YouTube, but I think it's time to make my comeback. That's one of my goals for 2024 is to get back to regularly uploading. Today I want to sit down and chat about my top reads of 2023. I somehow managed to read 200 books this year, even with all the craziness, with how busy it was, and I'm pretty proud of myself for that. I had so many favorite reads this year, but I narrowed it down to my top 20 reads of 2023, and today we're going to chat about them all. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Kayla and I'm a freelance social media manager for indie romance authors, and I like to read a lot of books. So you can find me on BookTok and Bookstagram too, but this is my life here on YouTube. I think that's enough for this intro. Let's get into my top 20 reads of 2023. First up is Don't Forget Me Tomorrow by A.L. Jackson. This is a brother's best friend, small town romantic suspense book. This is the second book in her most recent series. I really liked the first one in the series too, but I tried to just pick one book from each author and each series that I loved this year. This book is about Dakota and Ryder. Ryder is Dakota's brother's best friend, and after Dakota's apartment is broken into, Ryder demands that her and her son move into his house. There's always been chemistry and tension between them, but when they are in close proximity to each other, things get a little spicy. At one point, Dakota walks in on Ryder moaning out her name in the shower, which was very, very steamy, and overall, I just really enjoyed this one. A.L. Jackson does romantic suspense so well, and I'm looking forward to the next book in the series. Next up is The Sweet Spot by Rebecca Jenshock. I feel like overall I'm really not a fan of college romance anymore. I feel like I've kind of outgrown it, but I do really enjoy Rebecca's. Her books are always short, fun, and they're pretty low drama, which I like, and they always have some kind of sports vibe. I loved all her new releases this year too, but The Sweet Spot is actually an older release of hers. This is a golf, forbidden-ish, slow burn romance. Kira is a college student and she's on her school's women's golf team, but she hasn't had the best year and her coach really has it against her, and she meets Lincoln Reeves, who is a former pro golfer and now a famous golf coach. There is so much chemistry and tension between them, but when he agrees to coach Kira, they decide to keep their hands off of each other because they know it wouldn't be a good look and they want to stay focused and professional. But that doesn't last long because they really care about each other and they have so much chemistry. I'm obsessed with the two of them together. I loved all of Rebecca's books that I read this year, but this was definitely my favorite of hers. Next up is Wrong for You by Harlow Ray. This is a second chance, single dad, small town romance. Jake broke Harper's heart many years ago, and now he is a total jerk to her because he's trying to keep his distance. But now she's his daughter's ballet teacher and they keep running into each other. His daughter is really pushing them together, and he realizes maybe she really is the one for him all along. Harlow does banter so well, and I really enjoyed this one. Next is Coach by Devney Perry. This is a second chance single dad football romance. 2023, it definitely felt like the year of sports romance on BookTok because I definitely read a lot of them. In this book, Ford moves back to Montana and accepts the head coaching job for his alma mater's football team. Millie works for the school's athletic department, and she was friends with Ford in college, and they always kind of had this flirty tension between them, but it didn't work out between them. But now he's back and they see each other all the time on campus, and they're supposed to stay away from each other because they both work for the school. But there is just so much chemistry between them. I absolutely love them and his daughter. They are just the perfect trio together. I highly recommend this one, and I'm really excited for Blitz. I think it comes out in April, but don't quote me on that. Next up is Always Only You by Chloe Leese. I am absolutely obsessed with the Bergmans. I've seen so many people talk about this series, but Sierra made me finally start it, and I binged the first 4 on audio in like a week. I stopped after that because I realized the last book in the series isn't out yet, and I wanted to read several of them together. I'll probably reread the first 4 honestly when it comes out because I just absolutely loved all of them, but I think book 2 of the series was my favorite. Ren is a sunshiny giant of a hockey player. Frankie is a little bit grumpy, grouchy, and she works for the hockey team. Ren has pretty much been in love with Frankie since the first time he met her, but she works for the team, so she's off limits. But things are changing for both of them, so Ren decides it's finally time for him to get his girl, and he is so determined to win her over, but she is just so adamant at pushing him away, and it's just so good. And I just love the Bergmans so much. They just welcome each other with such open arms, and I'm so obsessed. I can't wait to read the rest of the series this year. Next is Until It Fades by K.A. Tucker. I went into this one pretty much blind, and it absolutely blew me away. Catherine is a young single mother, and she's definitely struggling to make ends meet for her and her daughter, but she is determined to give her a good life, even though their small town loves to gossip and chatter about her. One night, she's on her way home from a bad first date. It's incredibly foggy, and she stumbles upon a horrible car accident, and she gets out to go and help and realizes the car is catching on fire, and she somehow manages to pull out the passenger, who is still alive, even though he is almost triple her size. Turns out the man she saved is a famous hockey player, and he is determined to thank her and win her over, and they fall in love. And it is just so good. Definitely a slow burn. It's pretty low in spice, but I really loved their connection and their relationship and their dynamic, and Brett is just 10 out of 10, so swoony, and a great book boyfriend. Next is The Playlist by Morgan Elizabeth. This is the book for Taylor Swift lovers. Morgan is a huge Swiftie herself, which I absolutely love, and she just weaved so many Taylor Swift references in this book. It was perfect. Even the cover itself has so many little Taylor Swift Easter eggs, which I love. This is a best friend's brother small town road trip romance that I'm just absolutely obsessed with. Xander has pretty much always had a thing for Zoe, but the timing just has never worked out. But now that she's back in their small town, he knows this is his one chance to make her his. So he proposes a road trip, packs her in the car, and it takes off without telling her where they're going, what they're doing, which Zoe's a little bit of a control freak, so it's hard for her to let go, but she trusts Xander, and he takes her on the road trip of a lifetime. And during that time, he really proves that he is the man for her, and they're meant to be together, and it's just so cute. Again, so many Taylor Swift references that were just so perfect, not over the top. I really love this one, and you definitely need to read it. Next is Glov by Tegan Hunter. This is a single mom hockey romance. Stevie is a single mom working 2 jobs to make ends meet, and her daughter is totally hockey obsessed. So when Greer is in desperate need of a date for his mom's wedding, he goes to Stevie and says he'll coach her daughter for free if she goes as his date. As they spend more time together, they obviously fall in love, and I just love how grumpy Greer is, but he is totally weak for Stevie and her daughter. I really enjoy this whole series, but especially Glove Save. Next is The Season of Secrets by QB Tyler. This is an office age gap billionaire forbidden romance. Wes is Reagan's billionaire boss. She's his assistant, and things are totally off limits between them because there is a no fraternization policy at their office. But one night kind of changes everything between them, and they can't stay away from each other, and Wes is just thoroughly obsessed with her, which I love. So many great spicy scenes in this book, so many great billionaire scenes in this book. At one point, he hands her his credit card, and she asks what her spending budget is, and he says $500,000. He gives her a $500,000 budget and says, don't worry, you can go over it if you want to. Chef's kiss. He is just such a good billionaire. I'm obsessed with him, with both of them. QB just absolutely kills it with the spicy forbidden vibes, and this book is no exception. I've never met a Melanie Harlow book I didn't love, but Make Believe Batch was my favorite of hers in 2023. This is a one-night stand turned marriage of convenience, forced proximity romance. Devlin and Lexi have a one-night stand together, and then the next morning she realizes he's the man who is trying to buy her family ski resort that she's trying to save. But Devlin realizes he really hates his job, and this is not what he wants to be doing. So he shows up at Lexi's door and proposes that they get married so they can save her family's ski resort. These two just have an instant connection and chemistry between each other. The first scene in the car is so hot, and I love how determined Devlin is to help save Lexi's family's resort, and I love his family and how much they welcome Lexi. This book is just so good, and I can't wait for the next one in this series. If there's one woman who knows how to do billionaires, it is this one. My next book is Tempt Our Fate by Kat Singleton. Camden and Pippa start off as total enemies. They absolutely hate each other because they are total opposites. He's a grumpy billionaire. She's a sunshine small town girl. But everything changes when Camden is desperate and needs a last minute caterer. So he begs Pippa to help him, but she tells him she'll only do it if she can show him around her small town and show him why small town life is so great. Camden is just the most swoony billionaire of all time. He shows up with her favorite food when she's sick and watches over her. he buys her her favorite jeans, even though they're completely sold out online. He uses the soap that she uses when he has to go back to New York for a week. Just so swoony. I'm obsessed with this man. I probably have said obsessed like 100 times in this video already, but this man, he is really top tier book boyfriend material. If you haven't read this book, you need to ASAP. Next up is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I saw so many people talk about this book, so I had to pick it up. I listened to it, and boy, is this book just so good. Brianna is a newly divorced doctor whose life seems to be kind of flatlining, but in enters Jacob Maddox. He is a new doctor at her hospital, and at first she thinks he is like the devil incarnate, but slowly that changes. He starts writing letters to her and they build up this kind of friendship together, and this man is just absolutely weak for her. At one point he sits in the rain for 3 hours at a local cafe just so he can have internet and talk to her longer. Brianna is so hesitant to let him in after her divorce, but Jacob just wears her down because he is thoroughly obsessed with her, thoroughly in love with her. I just love this book so much, and you need to read it. Next is Shadows of You by Catherine Cowles. This is another author that I've never read a book from that I did not like, but Shadows of You was definitely my favorite of hers in 2023. This is a single mom, grumpy sunshine romantic suspense book. Aspen is a single mom who is hiding away from the world on her little animal farm, and in enters Rowan Hartley, who is just the grumpiest, surly man on the planet, except when it comes to Aspen and our little girl. Then that man is absolutely weak, will do anything for them, especially protect them. I love the Hartleys so much, I love the series so much, and I'm not ready for it to be over when the last book comes out. Next is King of Greed by Anna Wong. I don't know when I became such a second chance marriage in trouble romance girly, but this book was phenomenal. I saw very mixed opinions on it, but I absolutely loved it. I loved the angst, the tension between them. Dominic and Alessandra have been married for a decade, but he has screwed up one too many times for her, and she says, I'm done. But that is really the jumpstart that Dominic needs to realize that he royally messed up with her, but he'll do whatever it takes to win his girl back, and win her back he does. I don't know what book people read when they said he didn't grovel, because this man groveled over and over again with his little daily small actions to show her that he has changed, he will be there for her. This book is so good, and anyone who says otherwise is just wrong. Next is Broken Dreams by Corinne Michaels. This is a book I got to early read, and let me tell you, it was so hard to read this book and then not have anyone to discuss it with, because it was just so good. This is a double single parent fake dating small town romance. Addison is a widowed single mom in need of a date for her friend's wedding. Grady is a widowed single dad who needs a fake girlfriend so he can secure funding for his business. And after another horrible first date for both of them, Grady proposes to kill two birds with one stone, and they fake date. But the fake feelings turn into very real feelings. These two are just so in love with each other. Their kids are so adorable, and I just don't have enough words in the English language to describe how much I love this book. Also, this is definitely Corinne's spiciest book to date. Grady Whitlock has a mouth on him, and let me tell you, Tempting Promises book 3 is probably even spicier. Next is Made for Me by Natasha Madison. Let me tell you, this man is book boyfriend material to the max, to the extreme. Chase is a doctor, Julia is a social worker, and they have been family friends for a long time. Chase has pretty much always been down bad for her, but they finally start a relationship, and they are just so adorable together. And when a case gone wrong for Julia ends up with her in jail, this man is about to fight through everyone to get to her. He sleeps on a bench outside of jail so he can be close to her throughout the night. He is just so in love with her, ready to do anything for her, and I just love these two together so much. Let me tell you, it was very hard for me to narrow it down to one Laura Pavlov book of all the ones I read this year, but I picked Before the Sunset because I am a friends to lovers girly through and through. Finn and Reese have been best friends pretty much their entire lives. They have been inseparable since they were young, but they've never wanted to ruin their friendship, and Reese has been in love with this crappy, no good man for a very long time. So when she is trying to show her ex up and Finn needs a fake girlfriend to keep the crazies away. They decide to fake date and enjoy some benefits while they are fake dating. But it doesn't stay fake for long because their feelings have always been right under the surface, and Finn is just down bad for her. I'm obsessed with these two, with this whole series. I just adore Laura Pavlov so much and her writing, and this was my favorite of the year from her. Next is What Saves Us by Maggie Gates. She is absolutely the most underrated author on the planet. Her writing is phenomenal. I seriously need you to stop what you're doing and pick up one of her books because they are just so good. What Saves Us is a brother's best friend, single mom, small town romance. Shane has been in love with Beth pretty much from the first time he saw her, but the timing was never right. When Beth goes into labor at home in the middle of a horrible storm, Shane is one of the paramedics who responds. He helps deliver her baby and rushes them to the hospital and is there for her through it all. And even after, when she goes back home and is experiencing extreme postpartum depression and anxiety, he is there through it all. This man is just down so bad for her and will do absolutely anything for her and her daughter, including fight her crazy baby daddy who threatens her. He is there through every single moment. He is such an elite book boyfriend. I need everyone to go read this book because it is so good, and I'm just obsessed with this whole trilogy. But Beth and Shane definitely take the cake of the series for me. And for my top read of the year, it is a tie between these two books because they are just so absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot stop thinking about either of these books, and it would be impossible to pick between the two of them because I just love them both so much. So my top two books of the year are Reckless by Elsie Silver and Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. One is accidental pregnancy, one is secret baby, which are tropes that so many people hate, but I love them, and these are like the most elite books of both of those tropes. So first, Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Bo and Win have a one-night stand at their friend's Halloween party, and Win ends up pregnant. Let me tell you, when Win tells this man that she's pregnant, he cries. He got basically a total stranger pregnant, and he is crying because he is so happy, and it was just the most precious thing. And he continues to be the most precious thing for the entire book. He is just so in love with Win, but he knows she is scared and hesitant to be in a relationship. So they decide to be friends, but she moves in with him to make it easier on her, and so they can be together and become better friends before they have this baby. But again, this man is so in love with her, and he is determined to build this friendship and a life with her. Win is so scared to let Bo in, but slowly he breaks her defenses down, and they just have the most beautiful love ever. I'm obsessed with this book. Everyone needs to go read it ASAP. My other favorite moment is when they are talking about expenses together after she moves in, and she is determined to pay half of it, even though it's like practically impossible because she doesn't make a lot of money. And Bo secretly has a lot of money, so he tells her that he would like her to just pay $1, but no, she won't do that. So he makes it proportional to how much they make so that he can pay a majority of it and take care of her and the little bean. I seriously just need everyone to go read this book. Even if you are an accidental pregnancy hater, this is the best of the best. I'm not kidding you. Like, please go read this book. And my other top read of the year is Reckless by Elsie Silver. Winter and Theo are just the best book couple I think I've ever read. I don't know if I have enough words to describe how much I love Theo Silva. He is just so in love with Winter and willing to break down all of her defenses and show her that they are so meant to be together no matter what. I don't know if I've ever seen such better character growth over a series than Winter. She starts off as like almost the villain of Chestnut Springs, and by this book you realize that she is just a broken girl who wants to love her sister, and it is so precious. Again, I know secret baby is a trope that so many people hate, but this is the best of the best. And I need everyone, 1, to read the series, 2, to read this book specifically because it is just so good. And I'm very sad that Chestnut Springs is over overall, but especially sad that I can never read this book again for the first time because it was just that good. That is it. Those are my top 20 reads of 2023. Of the 200 books I read this year, those are my very favorites and all of my favorite authors of the year as well. If you liked this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below what your favorite read of the year was. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Like I said, 2024 is my comeback year for YouTube. I'm definitely going to be sharing a lot more book videos, hopefully productivity vlogs again very soon. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one.